The GazTell 450 infrared detector is made up of the detector and its peripheral but optional accessory modules. Shown here are the detector head, a simple local alarm module, also known as the SLAM, which is a relay module for low, high, and fail relay contact closures, and the extension module, also known as the XMO, which is typically used when the detector is installed in locations that are inaccessible for viewing or to make it easier to perform calibration, such as above drop ceilings or if they are mounted down into pits. These modules can be mounted up to 400 feet between each other and the detector head. Before actually using the GazTell system for the first time, the user must set up the components to operate to the specifications of his application. This includes choosing target gas selection, gas scale, current output, alarm delay, display brightness, and if a SLAM is installed, alarm levels, normally energized or de-energized, and latching and non-latching relays. To begin the setup, declassify the area if it's installed in a hazardous location, then remove the power from the system. Remove the 1/4-20 bolts that secure the SLAM cover using a 7/16 inch wrench or socket. As a tip, I often use one of the bolts and hang the cover off the side of the housing to prevent misplacing or damaging the cover. Located on the SLAM PC board are jumpers that allow you to choose the alarm level for both low alarm and high alarm. The bottom group are for the low alarm and the top group are for the high alarm. There are 3 relays, one for low alarm, one for high alarm, and one for fail alarm, and 3 sockets to wire to these dry contact relays. These relays are a single pole, double throw, and rated at 6 amps. 4 of the jumpers allow you to choose whether you want the alarm to be normally energized or de-energized, and latching or non-latching. By placing the jumper across the 2 terminal pins, you can choose the options. The 2 jumpers on the bottom are for the low alarm, and the 2 jumpers on the top are for the high alarm. The remaining jumpers are to select the actual alarm concentration triggers for the low and high relays. For more detail on actual jumper position definitions, please refer to the manual. The last jumper on board is dedicated to a 125 ohm termination resistor. It is necessary to terminate the RS-485 data lines only if transmission data is corrupted or intermittent. These resistors are placed on the extreme ends of the data lines. Again, for more detail, please refer to the manual. Once configured to your requirements, the SLAM can be closed up by reinstalling the cover using the 4 1/4-20 bolts. Make sure you clean the metal surfaces of the cover and the body before placing the cover back on. Use the 7/16 wrench or socket to secure the bolts. To set up the detector for operation, the power must be turned on and the detector head must be operational. The system will go through an approximately 40-second warm-up before being operational. At this time you will see the XMO and the detector head displaying warm-up, while the SLAM, if connected, will be blinking green. The Delphian magnetic calibrator is used to activate the magnetic Hall effect switches located behind the label. The blue end activates all blue-colored commands, while the red end activates the red cal command. To initially set up the detector head for the first time, and any time in the future if you want to change the configuration, place the blue end of the calibrator over the info mark on the label for 5 seconds. The first menu displayed is highest reading. This is the highest reading since last calibration. Holding for 1 second over info mark moves to the next information item. Days since last calibration is self-explanatory. Days in service is also self-explanatory. The next item is high and low temperature. To display the values or reset the values, hold for 5 seconds over the info mark and release. Highest and lowest temperatures will be displayed. To reset these values, hold for another 1 second. To bring it back to the main menu, hold for 5 seconds. The next item is last error. If an error has occurred during normal operation, it is saved and displayed here. Another 1 second hold brings us to serial number. This is where the serial number is stored for future reference. If a SLAM is installed, the SLAM status will verify the SLAM settings configured in the SLAM. Hold for 5 seconds over the info mark to bring you into the submenu to view these settings. A 1 second touch over the info mark will jog you between low and high SLAM settings. And as done before, 5 seconds will bring you back up to the main menu. The next item in the information display is the alarm delay. Here is where you can choose to delay an alarm by up to 5 seconds. This is often used where users want to be sure the concentration of gas is present long enough to warrant triggering the relay. As you can see, if you don't hold the magnet over the info mark long enough for the 1 second, it will ignore the command. Target gas is where you can choose another gas if one is loaded into the detector head. Methane is the default gas. Other scales can be chosen if the selected target gas allows it. Methane can be selected for % LEL or % by volume. Again, this can be performed by holding the calibrator over the info mark for 5 seconds. Current output gives the user a choice of either a standard 4 to 20 mA signal or a 1 to 5 mA signal output used by Delphian analog controllers. Display brightness can be modified. If positioned in the sun, for example, you might choose to brighten the display. All alarms and informational messages are displayed at maximum brightness regardless of this setting. Again, use the magnet, hold for 5 seconds over the info mark to bring it to the submenu routine, and then 1 second intervals to change the intensity. The last item in the information menu is software version. This displays the version of the software being used. After setting or configuring your detector head, place the calibrator over the cancel mark for 5 seconds to return to normal operation of the detector. This can be performed at any point of viewing the info menu. This concludes the setup portion of the GazTell 450 video. Please watch the other GazTell 450 videos for instructions on how to calibrate the detector head or installing the system.